Chocolate is supposed to be a luxurious slow melt indulgence, but this Christmas, the UK chocolate aisle is selling you bars that are full of anything but cocoa. Did you know Asda Smart Price is about 52 grams of sugar per 100 grams, and Tesco Value sinks to only 14% cocoa solids and mostly sugar? These are the 10 worst UK chocolate brands you should never buy this Christmas. Number 10, M&S Swiss chocolate range. The Swiss flags, the gold embossing, the whole alpine luxury costume. It's built to make you drop your guard and think, okay, this one's for guests. But wait till you see what's actually doing the heavy lifting here, because it's not cocoa. In a lot of this range, sugar shows up first, and the numbers explain the taste. You're often looking at mid-30s grams of sugar per 100 grams, with cocoa hovering around the low 30% range. And once you know that, you can't untaste it. The first bite hits sweet immediately, and then the chocolate part fades out like it never really showed up. And here's where it gets sneaky. This is the kind of bar that sits in a bowl for visitors, and then somehow half the bowl is gone by midnight. Not because it's special, because it's easy. It looks premium, it tastes safe, and it keeps pulling you back for another pick. And you'll find out exactly why that matters to your cravings as we keep counting down. So don't let the wrapper do the talking for the recipe. If the front isn't proudly telling you the cocoa percentage, it's usually because it has nothing to brag about. Number 9, Aldi Choceur. This is the Christmas bar that sells you a whole fantasy continental chocolate bargain price. Perfect for stocking fillers, office tubs, and that grab a few extras trolley mood, but wait till you taste what the low price really bought, because it shows up fast. In this range, cocoa can sit around the mid-20%, and palm oil often shows up in the fat mix. That matters because the real chocolate feel comes from cocoa butter, the clean snap, the proper melt, the richness that actually lands. Yeah, we're talking about cheaper vegetable fats, and it melts too quickly, tastes more sweet than cocoa, and leaves a slightly greasy finish that makes you go back in. Not because it's amazing, but because it never fully satisfied you the first time. So don't tell yourself your taste buds are being dramatic. It's not you, it's a cost-built bar doing cost-built things. Number 8, this is the heritage bar people buy out of nostalgia and then immediately remember why they stopped. Because the experience isn't chocolate first, it's sugar, perfume, and everything else trying to keep up. We're talking 65 grams of sugar for every 100 grams, with around 6.6 grams of fat. This isn't a slow, rich cocoa melt. It's a sweet hit with a thin chocolate coating, and you feel it the second you take a bite. The coating snaps kind of flat, then the middle turns into a sticky gel that doesn't melt so much as smear. That type of sugar high only makes you snack again later. Number 7, Co-op own brand chocolate. This one gets bought by people who think, at least it's not the cheapest. But Co-op cuts corners in a quieter way by engineering the texture so it feels smooth even when cocoa butter isn't doing the job. You'll spot emulsifiers like soya lecithin and sometimes E476. That's not there to improve your chocolate. It's there to keep the bar stable, consistent, and cheaper to make when cocoa costs rise. The result is sweetness up front, cocoa muted, and a finish that drops off fast. And wait till you notice the pattern. When a bar needs a mini chemistry set to feel smooth, it usually means cocoa has been pushed to the sidelines. Pick chocolate where cocoa butter does the structure, not additives doing damage control. Number 6, Morrisons Savors Chocolate. This is where the quality drop stops being subtle and starts being physical. And wait till you hear the numbers, because they explain everything you feel on that first bite. Savors is built on substitutes: palm kernel oil, glucose syrup, and cocoa powder down in the mid-teens, around 16%. That's sugar and industrial fat. Wearing a cocoa mask, you notice it before the flavour even has a chance. The break is dull, not crisp. The melt is slow, but not in a luxurious way. It just lingers. Instead of dissolving cleanly like cocoa butter, it leaves that waxy film people compare to candle wax. And here's the part most people don't connect until it's too late. When a bar doesn't melt cleanly, it doesn't satisfy cleanly either, which is exactly how you end up reaching for just one more later. Don't buy savors to save money. Buy a smaller bar that actually melts like cocoa, because this one is the shortcut you feel. Number 5, Sainsbury's Basics Chocolate. This is the no-frills bar that looks honest because it doesn't pretend, and that's exactly why it's dangerous. It's cheap enough to become normal, and normal is how it quietly rewires your snacking. The label gives the game away. Sugar first, palm oil near the top, and cocoa solids around 17%, just enough to stay in the chocolate aisle without admitting it's basically flavour on a budget. Take a bite and you'll feel it. It's sweet and flat, with barely any cocoa depth, and it finishes with that faint, oily fade-out instead of a real chocolate linger. So don't build Christmas habits around this as a staple. If you want a cheap sweet, fine, treat it like that. But if you want chocolate, buy a smaller amount of something cocoa-led so a couple squares actually feel like the end of the craving. Number 4, Asda Smart Price Chocolate. This one doesn't even try to hide the numbers. It's a sugar bar. The nutrition panel shows it clearly. Around 52 grams of sugar per 100 grams, with cocoa solids sitting around 18%. That ratio tells you everything before you even open it. You're not buying chocolate satisfaction, you're buying a sugar rush dressed in brown. And people feel it. The first bite is loud and sweet, then the bar collapses into a hollow aftertaste that some describe as harsh or metallic once the sugar fades, and that's what happens when cocoa is too weak to carry the finish, and cheap fats are doing the melt work. The mouthfeel turns thin, the sweetness dominates, the chocolate part barely gets to speak. And Christmas makes this worse because Smart Price chocolate is exactly what people buy in bulk for baking, for kids, for the office tin, for extra bits around the house. And that's how a high sugar, low cocoa product becomes a daily background snack. The solution is simple. Stop buying chocolate in bulk just because it's cheap. Buy fewer bars, buy better bars, and you'll eat less without even trying. Number 3, Wagon wheels. This one hurts because it isn't marketed as chocolate. It's marketed as childhood, and that's why most people never check the label. But the label gives it away. Chocolate-flavored coating. Not chocolate. Flavored coating, meaning cheaper fats and flavorings are doing the job cocoa should be doing. Now watch what happens when you bite it. The sweetness hits first, loud and sharp. The coating melts more like icing than real chocolate. And then you're left with that biscuit marshmallow stack that spikes fast and drops fast. And here's the trick. You don't feel satisfied. You feel like you need another snack. That's not you being weak. That's the product doing what it was built to do. So keep it simple. If you want one for nostalgia, fine. But don't keep a box around as an everyday Christmas treat. If you want chocolate, buy actual chocolate. Number 2, McVitie's Penguin. Penguin used to be a simple lunchbox deal. Biscuit, chocolate, done. But the wrapper tells a careful story now, and careful wording is a warning. Look for chocolate flavor or chocolatey. That's the product, quietly admitting the coating isn't real chocolate in the old sense anymore. Here's what that usually means. Less cocoa, more vegetable fats doing the job cocoa butter used to do. And once you spot that switch, you'll start noticing it everywhere. Now wait till you feel the melt, because that's where it gives itself away. Real chocolate melts slow and clean. This one smears faster, feels slightly greasy, and the flavor pops up. Then disappears before it ever turns into anything rich. That it's not as good as it used to be feeling. That's not nostalgia talking. That's your mouth noticing the formula changed. So the fix is simple. Don't let nostalgia choose your snacks. Penguin now is a biscuit with chocolate flavor coating. Treat it like that. And don't hand it out like it's the same bar you grew up with. Number 1, Tesco value chocolate. This is the bottom of the aisle for a reason, and I need you to stay with me here, because the numbers on this one are the kind that change how you look at cheap chocolate forever. We're talking cocoa solids around 14%, sugar around 58 grams per 100 grams, and then the rest is basically vegetable fats and flavorings doing their best impression of something that used to be real chocolate. And in a second, you'll understand why that matters more than taste, because this isn't a budget bar. This is reconstructed imitation. It's engineered to hit a cost target, not a quality standard, and your mouth catches the lie instantly. The snap feels wrong. The melt feels wrong. Instead of that clean cocoa butter dissolving, it softens and smears, then leaves that thin film that makes you pause like, wait, why does my mouth still feel coated? That's not you being dramatic, that's the formula. And here's the part nobody says out loud. This is bigger than one bar. Tesco value is what happens when the industry gets squeezed. Cocoa prices rise, margins get protected, and the product keeps the name but loses the soul. This is how chocolate quietly turns into something closer to chocolate flavor without anyone making an announcement, because most people won't check the percentages. And most people won't notice until their cravings start acting weird. And here's the uncomfortable truth. This isn't just about Christmas treats. It's about what the industry has been training us to accept as normal. They kept the wrappers familiar while quietly swapping cocoa for sugar, cocoa butter for cheap fats, and flavor for imitation. So stay sharp in that aisle. Read the front, read the back. And if you want two genuinely better options that still respect real cocoa and honest ingredients, look at Hotel Chocolate or Montezuma's instead. Because the moment we stop funding imitation is the moment chocolate has to become chocolate again.